Welcome, everyone. It's your boy, Darrell Owens, and this is another episode of One on One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and, of course, Aaron on Bowie Television. Look, we are entering week 16. That means we have 3 weeks left of the NFL regular season before we hit the playoffs, and that means we got week 16 of the power rankings heading to you. We got a lot to get into. Some things have changed. Some things are the same, but we'll get into all of that in just a second. Once again, one on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and Bowie Television.
One, 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 one. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to one-on-one at Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Hey, we are here for another episode of One on One, episode 120. 80 away from 200. We got some time. We'll get that sometime next year. But once again, everybody, thank you all for tuning in for episode 120 of One on One. It's December the 21st. We are a couple of hours, about an hour and some change away from Thursday night football. We'll see the New Orleans Saints travel to SoFi Stadium to take on the Los Angeles Rams. A lot of playoff implications in this one. The Saints are kind of a little bit on the outside looking into the playoffs right now, and the Rams hold on to that 7 seed after they took it away from the Packers, after the Packers could not beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But we're going to get into all that, talk a little bit of that. But, of course, let's go ahead and get into our power rankings, and let's get started with the bottom. All right, in the bottom this week, some changes I don't like on a personal front. I hate to see this team moving to the bottom because I thought they were playing really well, and then they just started falling apart. If you know who it is, just look, that away. But anyway, let's get into the bottom here for this week. And first, we'll start off with the Carolina Panthers. But kudos to the Carolina Panthers for getting a win this week. They, in a rained out, just a nasty NFL game, they went 9-7 over the Atlanta Falcons. Just some field goals, man. Just some field goals in there, getting the dub. And it's not the way you want to win, but hey, sometimes you got to win ugly. And that's what they did. They won ugly. They get the win. Bryce Young gets his second win as an NFL quarterback. And the Falcons had a chance to go in there and win that game. I think it was probably about like 5 or 6 minutes left. Don't judge me on the time frame, but the interception, I believe, was thrown by Ritter. And from that point on, the Panthers drove down the field, kicked the game-winning field goal. Eddie Pinheiro knocks it through, and the Panthers win their second game. Now, the Panthers play the Packers this week, who you see are at number 23. Shame on the Green Bay Packers because they don't know how to win football games. They don't know how to play defense. We got a lot of issues going out of the Packers camp right now, especially on defensive front. And Devondre Campbell is not happy on a lot of things. But, we'll talk about that next week on Green and Gold Over Everything. No Green and Gold Over Everything this week. But we'll be back next week to bring you more of that. Anyway, Panthers looking great. Getting that second win. And like I said, it wasn't pretty, but they got it. So congratulations to the Panthers. Let's take on the Packers on Christmas Eve on Sunday. Next, we've got the New England Patriots. Now, the Patriots took on the Chiefs, and it was a competitive game in the beginning, but the Chiefs, would prevail in the end. Mahomes threw 2 picks in this one, but he also had 2 touchdowns and 305 yards. And Rashee Rice is becoming his go-to target, 9 receptions for 91 yards and a TD. So, the Chiefs get the win. for the Patriots, their chances of getting the one pick increased just a little bit more. But right now, that still is going to the Chicago Bears unless something happens in the favor of the New England Patriots, like the Panthers win a couple games here. But, if you're the Panthers, I mean, you don't really have anything to lose per se for going out there and playing hard. You may lose your first pick in the second round, but, we'll see how that goes. Patriots at 31. At 30, the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona hung in with the 49ers in their contest this past week, but they just were outplayed. I mean, the Cardinals don't have, in my opinion, enough talent to go around right now to catch up with the 49ers team. Now, don't get me wrong. Kyler Murray, great talent. Marquise Brown, solid people. James Conner, great running back. The young McBride kid, tight end, the reason why they were able to let Ertz go, he had a great day. 10 receptions for 102 yards, but it's not enough when you got the two guys who, in my opinion, are top of the MVP race, and Brock Purdy, who had 4 touchdowns and 242 yards, and Christian McCaffrey, who had 18 carries for 115 yards in the TD. That's what do you do when the team is on fire like that? So Cardinals are at 30, but ever since Kyler come back, I've seen a different Cardinals team. At 29, the Washington Commanders. They lose a game to the Rams, 28-20 at SoFi. And, late in the game, the Commanders started making a push. They actually took Sam Howell out of the game, benched him, whatever way you want to put it. They brought in Jacoby Brissett for the last bit of the game. And to be honest with you, I just think they were trying to protect Sam at this point. He's taking a beating this year. So they bring in Brissett. They're already eliminated from the playoffs. Doesn't hurt them anything. And he came in through pretty decent, but it was just too little too late. The Rams won 28-20. The Commanders are at 29. They're 4-10. They play the Jets this week in New Jersey, East Rutherford. I will be there, heading up there on Saturday. As you know, they won't be playing Aaron Rodgers in the Jets because Aaron Rodgers has kind of already said he won't. I think he'll be active, but he won't be, playing, or he may be inactive. I don't know how they're going to do it, but he's going to be in the building. So so that'll be interesting. But we'll see if, who wins that game in the battle of the 28th ranked team and the 29th ranked team. To be honest with you, just playing for draft position at this point. So we'll see how it goes. And we got I got to say one thing about this, and I'm going to stop talking about Green Bay. Well, I got to talk about it one more time. But this pick could be the Packers pick, and they would be picking 5th if this stayed this way, or 5th or 6th. I'm gonna let it go. All right, next one, the Jets. The Jets had a rough day against the Dolphins, 30-0 beatdown, and the Jets were never in it. And you can tell that they just missed their quarterback. I mean, the quarterback they never had, or just some type of good quarterback play. It just hasn't existed. So Jets are at 28. They got the Commanders this week. At 27, the Titans. The Titans had a chance in the gorgeous Houston Oilers uniform to get a win against the Texans, but a Texans team that had no C.J. Stroud. Case Keenum came in, did his thing. It wasn't pretty, but he got the job done. Devin Singletary had 121 yards, 26 carries. Noah Brown, 8 receptions, 82 yards in a TD. This Texas team is fighting for a playoff spot, and they're going to keep pushing. So with that being said, the Titans lose, and they go to 5-9. At 26, the Chargers, another loss for the Chargers. Now, this was embarrassing. They lost to our 21 team on here, the Raiders, who are banging on the door, trying to, stay in the playoff race, stay relevant. They're at the top of the bottom, if that makes any sense. They destroyed the Chargers last Thursday night, 63-21. And, it just never was. It was never a game. It was never close at all, obviously. But it was just the Raiders team that just jumped on them, and it was bad. It was bad all the way around. They just kept scoring and scoring, and every time I turned around, I said, "There's more scoring going on in Vegas right now," and that's kind of what it was. So Chargers at 26, Raiders at 21. At 25, the New York Football Giants, riding a couple game high. Tommy DeVito, aka Matilda's dad, was doing good things. They never got things going against the Saints. Saints won that one 24-6. And the Saints are hanging on tight, right there behind a couple teams in that NFC playoff spot for those last two spots. So they're in the fight. They're in the mix. Saints win 24-6. Giants are number 25, and we'll see. If their playoff aspirations go away this week. At 24, the Chicago Bears. The Bears, great game against the Browns. A very competitive game against the Browns. Had a shot at the end. Did not go their way. Hail Mary into the end zone. Mooney had his hands on it. It kicks off of his leg, flies into the air. Browns intercepted. They moved to 9-5, and they're 7-1 at home this year. What a great year for the Cleveland Browns, despite all of the destruction at the quarterback position. But the Bears are at 24, and like I said, they've played better over the last couple of weeks. And I don't think they may be eliminated, but I'm not sure if they're eliminated just yet. But if they are, they have fought hard the last couple of weeks. At 23, the Green Bay Packers. Now, Packers lose 34-20 to the Buccaneers, and they're on their way out of the playoff hunt here. The last 2 weeks, after they beat the Chiefs, they held the 7th seed, and ever since they got into the playoff mix, they've lost 2 weeks straight. It's absolutely ridiculous. That's all I'm going to say because I don't want to be upset. And next, at 22, we got the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons losing that ugly game to the Panthers, 9-6. And if you're a Falcons fan, you're wondering, man, when are they going to, change some things up here? You got Kyle Pitts wasting away. You got Bijan Robinson wasting away. You got Drake London wasting away. And your quarterback situation is abysmal, and your coach doesn't know what to do with all of that young talent. Something has to give quick in the ATL. They're at 22. At 21, the Vegas Raiders getting a big-time 63-21 victory over the Chargers. I believe that was the most points scored in the Raiders franchise history in a game. Wow. Absolutely wow. So here it is, the bottom. You got the Panthers, the Patriots, the Cardinals, the Commanders, Jets, Titans, Chargers, Giants, Bears, Packers, boo, Falcons, and Raiders. Gotta get better, Green Bay. That is the bottom for this week. So the bottom, there's still some teams in the mix of the playoffs, and things could change. We've got 3 weeks left of football. Anything can go. Now, let's head on over to the outside looking in. Outside looking in this week. It's getting a little tighter. And we're talking about it. Pretty much teams from 23 up are in the mix for the playoffs. And it's, maybe like 25, 23 up, and it's just still a battle. There's just so much parity in the league this year, and it was last year, and we're seeing it again this year. At 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that has fallen apart and are in danger of costing Mike Tomlin his first losing season as a Pittsburgh Steelers coach. Now, they win 2, they set. You ain't got to worry about that. But they got to win at least 2 games. And last year they were 5-9, and then they they were 5-8, and they end up winning the last 4 games to finish above it. The quarterback situation is not looking good right now for the Steelers. So there's a lot going on there in Pittsburgh. Maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe they won't. But for now, they're number 20 on the power ranking. At 19, the Minnesota Vikings. The Nick Mullins show came up a little short against the Bengals last Saturday. They had their game on Saturday last week. Great game. But the Bengals ended up winning 27-24. And let's give a shout out to Jake Browning. He's come in just when everybody thought that the Bengals playoff hopes were gone, including myself. I thought, no Joe Burrow, whatever. But Jake Browning has come in and played really good football. And so kudos to him. 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And the Bengals win. And right now the Bengals are the 6th seed in the AFC playoffs, as well as our number 12 team in the power rankings. So kudos to the Bengals. At 18, the New Orleans Saints, another team like we talked about fighting for a playoff spot. And they got their win against the Giants, still in the mix. Big game tonight against the Rams. Must win game for both teams in that matchup. Next, we got the Denver Broncos coming in at 17. And Broncos got demolished against the Lions. Wasn't cute. Wasn't pretty. The Lions are a legitimate threat in the NFC. I don't think they get talked about as much as they probably should. They've had a couple losses that, whatever. But they're going to be somebody to reckon with, and I think people are overlooking at them. People thinking, it's Eagles, it's 49ers, it's Cowboys. So those are the teams that people are looking at. But watch out. I'm telling you, the Lions, we all know they're good, but this could be it. Who knows? But the Broncos still in the playoff mix. Just a bad outing. Just a bad outing for the Broncos, and they're still in the mix in the AFC West, so they still could win that division, but it's getting a little bit tighter there. At 16, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They beat the Packers 34-20. Baker Mayfield is the first quarterback in Tampa Bay history, or in the history of the NFL, to come in the Lambeau, the visiting quarterback, and have a perfect quarterback rating of 158.3. What do you do with that? Just, kudos to the Buccaneers. They're hanging on to their playoff spot. Right now, they are currently the 4 seed. They hold the lead in the NFC South. So, congratulations to them. It's still, anything can go, because they got three teams in that mix in the NFC South. It ain't pretty, but it's there. Buccaneers at 16. At 15, the Seattle Seahawks. Big win on Monday night. Big win on Monday night against the Eagles. To move to 7-7, and want to be in this cluster of 7-7 teams trying to find a spot in the playoffs, and a nice win over the Eagles at home. So congratulations to the Seahawks. Their win helped Larry get into our pick'em playoff as the final seed. So congratulations to Larry on that. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But yes, Seahawks 20-17 with a nice win, and Drew Lock. Looking like Drew Lock, for those couple of games he had in Denver when people thought he might be the next big thing. Touche. Seahawks at 15. At 14, the Rams coming off their win against the Commanders, 28-20, and right now holding the 7th seed in the NFC. Next, at 13, the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Colts went into their game against Pittsburgh, hadn't beat Pittsburgh, I think maybe I forgot what the statistic was, but they don't beat Pittsburgh. And they found a way to beat Pittsburgh, and they beat them up pretty badly. Or that might be bad English, but they beat them badly, 30-13, and get themselves a nice win against Pittsburgh. So they're sitting at 13. They're holding on to a playoff spot in the AFC. I think they're the 7th seed as of right now, and I could be wrong on that, but we'll know that in a few minutes as well. So the Colts are looking good. They're at 13 and keeping those playoff hopes alive, even without their young stud and Anthony Richardson. So congratulations to Gardner Minshew for doing a commendable job at backup for the Indianapolis Colts. At 12, the Cincinnati Bengals. We talked about them and their win over the Vikings. At 11, the Houston Texans, who got their overtime win against the Titans, winning that contest 19-16. So there it is. The outside looking in: Steelers, Vikings, Saints, Broncos, Bucks, Seahawks, Rams, Colts, Bengals, and Texans. That is our outside looking in. So we swing it outside looking in, and now it is time to go ahead and hit you up, ladies and gentlemen, with our top 10. All right, top 10. Here it goes. Here it stands. At number 10, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Even after an ugly loss to the Ravens on Sunday Night Football, I think the Jaguars are still a team you got to have to reckon with at some point. I think they're just trying to get out of a funk. And I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is completely healthy. I mean, he took a beating a couple weeks ago, and since that game, they have not played good football. So we'll see if they can kind of figure that thing out, because they've got the Texans on their heels. They also have the Colts on their heels. So they can't make any false moves here, because one of those teams could jump in and win that division. We got the Jaguars at 10. At 9, and no, they're not in the playoffs right now, but they're playing good football, at battling back, playing good for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, Buffalo has, almost beat the Eagles a couple weeks ago. They have beat the Chiefs. I believe they lost to the Bengals. Don't get me wrong. My mind is it's been a while. But they have played some heavyweights this year. And a nice bounce back win against Dallas, who's coming off a natural high after beating the Eagles the week before. So a big win for Buffalo. I got them at 9. At number 8, the Cleveland Browns. Hey, man, Cleveland is finding ways to win. They got a great defense. They brought in a veteran quarterback in Joe Flacco to come in and lead that ship. He didn't have the greatest game against the Bears, but, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. But, it pays to have a veteran quarterback in these type of situations, and Joe Flacco was there to do his thing. So the Browns are at number 8 and are hoping to continue to climb in AFC, and who knows where the Browns may end up. At Number 7, the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs went in against New England, got their win 27-17. Also another game, not pretty, but hey, a win is a win. At number 6, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, boy, 3 straight losses. Didn't see that coming. And, David Carr, NFL analyst and former number 1 pick for the Houston Texans, said a couple of weeks ago maybe they should rest him pretty much and let Mariota run the team until he gets healthy. And people laughed at him and said, "You're crazy." And now it looks like that may be something they should have did just to make sure that Jalen Hurts is healthy for the playoff run. Mariota is a very, he's a very competent quarterback. Maybe not better than Hurts, obviously, but Mariota has started. He's been to the playoffs. That's why he's there, to be your backup. Man, take care of your quarterback, man. You pay way too much money to have him out on the field and hurt, and these are the results they're getting. So, hey, we'll see. Chiefs at 7, at 6, the Eagles at 5. The Detroit Lions, we talked about their beautiful win over the Broncos 42-17. They're cruising right along. They're doing nice things. And like I said, they're going not unheard of because people are talking about them, but I don't think they're getting as much press as they probably deserve right now. But I digress. At number 4, the Miami Dolphins coming off their 30-0 victory over the Jets. It just wasn't pretty at any point. The Jets never really stand a chance, but once again, the Dolphins beat teams that are bad. And same thing we talked about the Cowboys a couple of weeks ago until the last few weeks, but the Dolphins are in that same spot. They haven't beaten anybody good yet. So that is something that we're going to find out this week because they play Dallas. So the two teams that people say, oh, they can't do that, we're going to see who's going to win that matchup. And the Cowboys at number 3, bad loss to the Buffalo, but just a bad loss to Buffalo. But I still think they are a better team right now. So I'm still going to leave them at 3. But I could have easily put them at 5 this week, move the other 2 teams up. But I'm going to leave Dallas there. I think they're still playing really good football. Just they ran into a Buffalo team that, they're hard to beat at home. Very hard to beat at home. At number 2, the Baltimore Ravens. Big, wonderful win over the Jacksonville Jaguars to move to 11-3 and sit in the top of the AFC. Lamar Jackson, another guy who's not getting they're not talking about him a lot this week. But this week, the number 2 team in the power rankings take on the number 1 team, the San Francisco 49ers. That matchup happens on Monday night on Christmas Day from Santa Clara. It is going to be a great football game. All right, top 10, Jaguars, Bills, Browns, Chiefs, Eagles, Lions, Dolphins, Cowboys, Ravens, and San Francisco 49ers. All right, that is our power rankings for week 16. Let's go ahead and finish this bad boy up, ladies and gentlemen, with the finale. Finale. Let's go ahead and get into it. Our finale for this week. First, our players of the week. Number 1, offensive player of the week, Baker Mayfield. Okay, 22 for 28, 381 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 34-20 win over Green Bay. And most importantly, the only visiting quarterback to get a perfect quarterback rating of 158.3 at Lambeau Field. Tis. It was sad. It's very sad. But congratulations to Baker. He is the offensive player of the week. And our defensive player of the week stays in the state of Florida, Mr. Bradley Chubb. 7 tackles, all right, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles in that 30-0 shellacking of the New York Jets. So those are our defensive and offensive players of the week. Next, in the MVP race. And as you see, 2 Dolphins in there and 2 49ers in there and a Raven. I still got McCaffrey as my MVP. Now, I know he probably won't get it. They're trying to push the Purdy narrative, which is a pretty good narrative. Don't get me wrong. But if you ask me, that team is not that team without McCaffrey. If I had to choose my lesser evils, which ones I don't want to have, I've got to have McCaffrey. He has made that team tick. The touchdowns, I mean, he has been on a roll. So he's my number 1. Number 2, I got to go with Purdy. Number 3, Lamar Jackson, who is having a really quiet MVP season for the Baltimore Ravens. Tyreek Hill didn't play last week due to injury, but his numbers have been amazing. And Tua has creeped back in there. And it's, maybe we get that Dolphins and 49ers Super Bowl. Who knows? Next, our Pick'em League. Got to go ahead and give your boys some love. Last week, myself and Russ both went 12-4. Great weeks for us. propelling us into the playoffs. Whoop, whoop. So we're glad to be entering the playoffs. And with that being said, here is our playoff pick'em league. It's been a battle. Myself will take on Christina in the first round of the playoffs. Our guy Ty Montgomery Jr. Tyrone Montgomery Jr. My words getting tied up. Ty is going to take on our man Larry Patterson in the 3-6 matchup, and me and Christina in the 4-5. Russ and James have a bye this week. They'll be waiting for the winners of this week's contest. Also, there it is. Russ 145 wins to become our regular season champion with 79 losses. Ty had 139, Christina 138, Larry 133, Jay had 128, Rob had 127, and Joe had 120, all in wins. Rob, also congratulations to being our Lone Ranger champion. In the Legends division, James winning the division, 142, 82 losses. Myself, I had 138 wins. You saw Joey and Victor have 133 apiece, missed out on the playoffs because Larry had the Lone Ranger tiebreaker. So, wow, right? Justice had 132, Corey with 129, and Lamont had 124. Now, once again, my record heading into this week, I went 12-4 last week, 6-9 the week before, 138 and 86. Last year, I was 161 and 108, I believe, and 2. And so I'm on pace to beat that. We're going to see, though. We're going to see. Now, for tonight, I've got the Rams beating the Saints 30-28 and moving my Thursday night record to 11-7. We hope so. At least that is the plan. That is the goal. All right, so that is the finale. Now, you're saying, Darrell, why didn't you show us your picks for the week? Well, this is kind of a playoff strategy, in the Pick'em League. So I didn't drop my picks just yet. Those will drop, probably drop either a little bit later on tonight, and we'll have those rocking and rolling. If not, it'll be out by Friday. So there it is. That is episode 120 of 101 here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and Bowie Television. Once again, we'd like to thank our Legacy Maker listeners and our Bowie Television viewers for coming on and hopefully enjoying the power rankings and either laughing at what I say or joining in some form of the fashion. All right, everybody, that has been another episode of 101. We will see you all next week for episode 121 as we enter week 17 and try to figure those power rankings out. Until then, I'm Darrell Owens. See you next time.
Legacy Maker, the All Sports Network.
Welcome to the 101. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the